just know that you might not be designed for what I do. Everybody's different, and everybody can find their thing that works for them. You got to think for yourself and find the role that fits you.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Leadership Syllabus. I'm your series host and leadership performance coach, John Jarabello. The Leadership Syllabus Podcast provides insights from leaders on the main leadership lesson they've learned from their work, life, and experiences, and who they are as a person. Each 30-minute mod will capture a bit about who the guest is, their work, and the one lesson they would contribute to the Leadership Syllabus. This collection of mods will offer you a one-series stop of real-world and life lessons to enhance your own self-understanding, awareness, and effectiveness in leadership and life. And this mod is a different approach, and today's contributor is Dan Starbuck Pelletier. And Dan is an entrepreneur, educator, and licensed real estate agent driven by a passion for building communities. He began his career by founding Dig USA and Dig Chess in Connecticut, programs dedicated to helping students develop confidence, strategic thinking, and lifelong friendships. Dan's interest in long-term financial growth and property management led him to real estate investing, where he has steadily built a portfolio of 9 multifamily rental properties with over 30 units. And I met Dan when he was in the paper for his Dig Chess program. I thought it was inspiring for him to go into communities to assist and volunteer with youth, mostly underprivileged youth. Saw his profile on the paper, reached out to him, had a similar conversation on a program I had. He and I were just talking about when I reached out to him. Maybe that was 2016, 2017. So just from seeing what he's built from then to now, because I think at that point it was just Dig USA and Dig Chess, but now he's involved in real estate investment. And there's just something about Dan's drive, his work ethic, the way he approaches not only his work, but his community, what he chooses to make his community, how it volunteers. I think he's a great profile to share with the community with this podcast. So Dan, thank you for joining me, bud.
Thanks for having me.
So first off, Dan, how would you describe yourself? I just did very briefly. I read the profile, the bio, but how would you describe yourself? Who are you as a person?
Yeah, I mean, that's, you described it. That's what I do. I have a kids business that does chess, but also we have summer camps with all different stuff, water slides and sports and arts and crafts. And then I'm in real estate. I own several multifamilies, 2, 3, 4 families, which I add value in them. And then I get renters and I take care of those renters, just like any other business, taking care of their customers. And then I'm a real estate agent, help brokering deals. Now, me as a person, I'm a hard worker, as you can tell. To achieve those things, it's a lot of hard work. There's no easy way. Anybody is saying online that building these things is easy, or you can just build some app or some CRM. No, you got to work very hard, and you got to be consistent, and you got to, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't stay up late. I'm a disciplined person in that regard. And then because I love what I do and it's like a competition to me. I was a college soccer player. And I had withdrawal after that. Like I went on to try to play pro, and I loved not the soccer necessarily, because actually I enjoy basketball more than I enjoy soccer. I love that I was good at something, and then I could beat other people in it, and I could work harder than them. I just loved that feeling. And when I, was past that, it's like, well, what do I do now to get that feeling? And then I had a corporate job, which I never got that feeling in my corporate job, because they actually didn't want me to go and compete and be creative. And they just wanted me to regurgitate down the line. I was mid-level and they wanted me to regurgitate. And so when I found being an entrepreneur, when I found this kid's business, when I found real estate, it just unleashed this competitive drive in me. Yeah. So every day it's like I wake up and it's as if I'm playing college soccer. It's like, how can I make this great and win and do great things?
So I remember we talked about your background the last time we spoke, again, almost a decade ago, I think at this point. This is a 30-minute mod. We don't have time for the full story, although I want to have you back for the other series about that covers books and recommendations you would make.
Yeah.
But for you, where do you think, briefly, where do you think that comes from in you, your work ethic? Because it's great that you say, I was addicted to the work of soccer. It wasn't necessarily soccer, although you enjoyed it. It was the work of it.
Yeah.
And then when that was gone, you needed to kind of get that energy out there. So where does that come from in you, that work ethic, that drive, that hunger?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think that work ethic is something people are born with. I think it's, some people are really smart. Some people are really creative. Some people are born with extreme drive. And then you can work at those things. Like, I don't consider myself to be that smart. Like, when I would take tests in college, I struggled all the time. Like, it was, but when I look at myself, I'm like, what am I really good at? And one of the things is just my drive, you know? And so I think I was born with it. I think I had good parents, two good parents that had a lot of work ethic too. They didn't drink, they didn't smoke, they worked hard. They lived minimalist lives, just their lives, and with just simple, simple cars, simple house, but saved money, invested money, um, and retired well and lived peaceful lives. So it's also the influence of my parents. Had good friends around me, but it's something, because I have a lot of people that work for me now in different ways, and I've learned that you can try to convince somebody to have that work ethic. You can talk, I can give them that motivational talk over and over, but I've rarely gotten it out of people. But when I find somebody that has that, I'll take them all day over the person that had great grades in school, or the person that
Yeah.
that looks the part, that looks,
Yeah.
or that's young or old. I don't care about age. I mean, my business partner in chess, I met him at 16, and by 20, I think, or 21, I went into business with him. He worked for me from 16 to like 21. By 19, he owned a multifamily already at 19 years old. He's unbelievably, he works so hard, but he also never messes around. To me, it's like, I don't care. I don't care if you graduate college. I don't care if you come from a certain family. When I saw his work ethic, I'm all in with him.
Yeah.
Well, to answer your question, it's, I think you're born with it.
And the only reason I chuckled before is because I know so many people in my life that didn't go to college, but their work ethic, you can't ask for, you can't train, you can't, it's just, yeah, there's that whole, nature versus nurture, but their work ethic, these people that I'm referring to, I would take over most of the people that I went to college with.
And on that note, when people ask me about, because I'm very passionate about, being an entrepreneur and paving your own way and not getting stuck in the system. But at the same time, if you don't have that drive, then corporate is good for you, because they will give you that structure. They will give you the medical benefits and the 401k and the boss to keep you going and pushing you. I don't think entrepreneurship is for everybody. And I'm not saying that those people are beneath me, because
of course,
they're often
not.
smarter than me in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And, or better looking or whatever. But it's like, to be an entrepreneur, I don't have a boss. I don't have anybody telling me to wake up early and get to work. I don't have anybody telling me to not go on vacation
there's no carrot, there's no stick in front of you. Like it's just innate, it's in you.
Yeah, man. So that's why I always say, if I'm going to talk about what I do and the way I see the world and how to be successful, just know that you might not be designed for what I do. Everybody's different, and everybody can find their thing that works for them. You got to think for yourself and find the role that fits you.
Dan, so aside from what you've seen in this particular case with work ethic, usually I ask people what their work has taught them. How has it changed them overall? You have different aspects, Dig Chess, Dig USA. Since I met you, you started like the different camps and whatnot, now real estate investing. I don't know if you want to go through them very quickly and kind of share what that one has taught you or overall what that journey has taught you. But what has your work, however you want to break it up, what has that taught you? How has it changed you overall?
Yeah, let's compartmentalize, because I think that's good there's three main things to my life and what I do with my work. There's my camps with the kids, there's the classes and stuff like that, where I make money. There's the volunteer stuff that I do in Bridgeport and Hartford. And then there's the real estate stuff, right? And they've each taught me different things. Like the real estate taught me that the way you invest your money is more important than the money you work for. Like if you want to get out of a social class, if you're in the middle class and you want to get into the higher class in terms of like just your financial assets, the work you do in your regular job is not as important as what you do with your money. I have made more money investing my money than I have just working for my money.
Yeah.
Okay. And so real estate showed me that. Real estate also showed me how dark the world can be and how tough that step is. You see, if you're in a social class and you are content with staying there, you can live a very peaceful life because you're in that class, you're in that lifestyle, and you just take whatever you get from somebody paying you and you live like that. When you want to jump, I'm telling you, you will have haters. You will have people trying to rip you off. That jump is just never seamless. It is never easy. And it is a dark thing in a lot of ways. What do I mean by that? When you get into real estate, well, I own 30 apartments. I always say, more than 30 apartments. I always say about 10 to 20% of your tenants are going to screw you, whether it's messing up your apartment, eviction, right? That's a dark road to go down. And we're dealing with that, right?
Yeah.
Like what even worse, contractors. You bring in a guy. I had a sewage issue, one of my properties the other day. You know, it usually costs $300 or $400 to get a simple snake, right? I've been doing this a long time, so I don't know how to do a snake, but I know what the prices are for all this stuff. HVAC, plumbing, roofing. I've got a guy, you know? So I sent a guy that I found because my normal plumber couldn't go. $2,500 he wanted to charge me to snake this situation. Now he knew I was desperate because it's overflowing with, you know.
Yeah.
But I told him, pack your bags, leave my property. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's not a fun conversation. That's not a fun thing to deal with too, right? When I'm managing my volunteer stuff, it's all beautiful world, right? It's all lovey because nobody's paying me. Nobody's paying me. So I've got a free girls program, soccer program in Bridgeport, totally free, over 50 girls. I pay for my coaches to go all week. I have them in leagues where they travel leagues. They play against Newtown, Ridgefield, like referees, right? I pay for this. Okay. I raise money and I pay for it myself. And I have good coaches. When I go there, everybody loves me. Everybody loves me. Right? Nobody's complaining. Who's going to complain? Yeah. I'm literally not only giving you the coaching, I'm paying for your cleats. I'm paying for your shorts, your backpack, right? Then you go to now let's go over to Dig, where I make my money, but I'm working with kids. It's like in between both those worlds. Like I never have to fight a war like I have to fight in real estate because I just give people their money back. Like, let's say you don't have a good time, I'll give you your money back. You want us to change weeks? Let's change weeks. And I make sure the kids have it's very rare that a kid doesn't have a good time. Because why? I'm working with children. We're having a good time. Dig didn't teach me how dark the world can be, but it also didn't show me how to become financially free. So I would compartmentalize into those three sections. And I would say I could have just lived a life working Dig and doing my volunteer stuff and stayed in the middle class the rest of my life and worked till I was 65. And I would have been fine. But I wouldn't have seen this other side of the world with the real estate. But also, I think in the next 5 to 10 years, I'll be financially free, which is a great thing. But along the way, I will have seen a lot of crap along the way, literally.
And I mean, maybe that's what all that training and fighting that you've been doing, that you've been like Dig, all your other programs, as noble as they are, they, like you said, they don't test you as much as you needed to be tested. the fight that you have in you, the drive that you have in you. So it's incredible that you've been able to do so much for so many people, but yet find that thing that could test you and make you better.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like at Dig, we literally refund our credit for anything. And I know how to make it great. You give me 50 kids at a camp with, 7 coaches. I'm going to have a coach doing arts and crafts. I'm going to have a coach doing soccer, a coach doing football. I'm going to have the Gaga ball pit. I'm going to have about 30 Nerf guns out there with kids battling it out with Nerf guns.
Oh, I've seen pictures.
I know. You give me 50 kids, kids and 7 coaches, I deliver. Yeah. I know how to deliver that. You give me 4 apartments and some random issues and some random people. Like I didn't grow up in a construction environment. My father worked a corporate job. You know, I'm also like, I grew up playing soccer and chess and going to camp. So I kind of already knew how to do this. I was trained throughout my life. Real estate, yes. Real estate has set me into my non-comfort zone. I've had to figure out all these things, not knowing it. And if I mess up, I'm spending an extra $4,000. Like it is unbelievable how quickly you can get just scraped clean in real estate. On top of that, you got an eviction. That whole process, you don't know how to handle that. Not only are you going to lose a lot of money, you could mess up and go harass somebody by mistake.
Yeah.
Now, on top of that, let's say you don't have the right insurance on your property and something happens. You're bankrupt. You don't have it in an LLC the right way. You're bankrupt. But at the same time, I've got amazing cash flow. I manage my tenants very closely and very nicely. So I've been winning. But I've had to really work hard to win at it. And it's a steep road down if you mess up.
Dan, so you've talked about, I mentioned the mod title, a different approach. You've spoken about taking a different approach, understanding what lane you're in and whether or not you want to or should be there, whether it's corporate or entrepreneurial in this example, in this case. So when it comes to leadership, how do you factor in that different approach? What's the lesson that you can provide here for the syllabus? How do you put it to somebody?
Yeah,
because I don't think a lot of people get that. For all the schooling we've done, for all the college and degrees that we get, you don't get this kind of conversation when you need it in life, when you're leaving school or even going into school. So when it comes to leadership, weave in that a different approach mod title for me.
Yeah, okay. I actually just hired this new person. And I actually was telling her what my expectations are. And as I was telling her, I was like, wow, I don't even know what college you went to. I haven't checked that. And you know what? I don't care. Don't tell me. I don't want to know your college. I don't want to know your GPA. I want to tell you the 3 things I want to see from you to be great. And by the way, I live by a policy: hire slowly, fire quickly. Okay. So what I do when I bring somebody in, like this person I just brought in, I give them some projects, some things, and I pay them hourly, a good hourly wage. Okay. And I say, hey, handle some of these projects, get these things done. Right. And then I say, and then if they do a good job and they show me these 3 things I look for, I expand and then I put them into a bigger role, right? A more stable, exact role. This is how much you get paid and this is what you do. So those 3 things. Okay. Number 1. Organized. Do you have a calendar? Do you have a to-do list? Do you share that to-do list with me on Google Docs? Do you cross off things? Do you add notes to what you've done? Right? Because I want to know that I can give you 10 things to do and not have to follow up with you 3 days later about, did you do those things? Did you even write down that you're going to do those things? And when you did those things, what happened when you did those things? Because I need to know what that conversation was like, because I might want to tweak it. Right? So are you organized? Number 2, do you work hard? Like, do you get stuff done? Like, do you just talk? Do you sit in a meeting with me and talk about how, I really want to hustle. And then you don't, and then 3 days later, you get one of those things done. I want somebody that hustles, gets all 10, and then says me before that 3 days, hey, what else do you got? And then the last thing, critical thinking. Do you want to know why? Do you take something that I give you and say, why are you doing that, Dan? Because I want people around me that can challenge my critical thinking. Because I know I'm not the smartest in terms of tests, but I am a very strategic thinker. Life is a game of chess to me, you know? Yeah. And so I'm very confident in that in myself. So I make decisions I go do things. I want people around me that say, hold up, Dan, did you think about this? I don't want just people that are organized and work hard.
Not yes people.
You understand? Yeah, not yes people. So those three things, you do those three things, and I'm going to give you a lot more work and you're going to be successful. Not many people have those three things, man. You'd be surprised.
So aside from the leadership lesson, weaving in that mod title, a different approach, what kind of call to action would you give to people? Would you put out there to people? What steps should they take aside from the kind of steps that you asked, the three things that you just outlined? I think even before any of that, waking people up to the different approach. What action steps would you tell them?
What is that different approach?
Yeah.
How
how do you wake somebody up to that different approach? So you gave keys in the last question, like 3 keys on what you're looking for. How do you even wake somebody up to that different approach? What are a couple things that you would say to somebody?
Got you. All right. So when I say different approach, I am talking about the mainstream things that we are taught growing up. Go to college, get a corporate job, put every penny you can excess into a 401k and retire at 65. Okay. Now, if you just follow that without thinking about it and you don't think about a different approach, a lot of people will make money off you. Okay. Now, you won't have to deal with the dark stuff of the world because you'll live in your social class and you'll be okay. You'll be okay. I'm not saying, but a different approach is taking the 3 things I just talked about and doing things differently than that. For example, that my chess partner, he's from India. He moved here when I was 14, barely spoke English. When I met him at 16, you should have seen his emails. I actually made him send me his emails before he sent them out to other people. So before AI could just edit it, whatever. And I would help him because if he sent an email out on Dig's behalf, it was a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
This guy, he just graduated from UConn. Just graduated. He owns 25 apartments. He just graduated from UConn at 23 years old. He owns 25 apartments and he's a 50-50 owner with me on our chess business. And he just graduated. What college grad do you know doing that? So what I'm saying about the college part is, why do you have to just go to college and drink and smoke weed for 4 years and party and go to some class with some lifetime professor that's just going to give you generic BS from some textbook from 10 years ago? Why not do that? Because, there are great things about college, right?
Absolutely.
There are some great professors out there. Yeah. They'll teach, the networking, the commitment, right? But why not start working too? Like a real job or real something, right? Why not do what the guy I just described to you? Now, I'm being a hypocrite now because I did the whole hang out, soccer, party, college thing, right?
Yeah, but it's good that in hindsight, you can look at your life, what you've achieved, look back at that and say, okay, I could have done it a little differently.
I mean I'm 37.
All of this is just for awareness. It's not like we're prescribing you have to do it this way, but it is about picking your head up and looking around, not just putting your face down to the script of life.
So let's go back to those things I was talking about, the normal. Let's talk about the corporate job, right? I had a corporate job where I had 2 weeks off a year. Okay. And my boss, I had the same boss. He was on me all the time, asking where I was, and it was like, I couldn't think about how to invest my money. I couldn't think about anything else because I was so engulfed in it. Try not to let yourself become so entrapped by your job that you can't think of other things. And then even worse, consider only matching whatever your company puts for your 401k. If your company matches 3%, put the 3% in, of course, because you're matching it. But beyond that, dude, your money, once it goes in that 401k, it's in a jail cell. I literally paid $10,000 for my own 401k money 3 years ago to buy a multifamily because I'm like, I can do more with my money. I had to pay $10,000 for my own money.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So consider thinking about what you're doing with your money. Don't just put in the 401k and say, oh, they told me to do that, right? Like that's the different approach. Think about the 3 things, the 3 core, the organized, hard work, and critical thinking, and then just think outside the box with these normal system things,
Yeah.
Do things a little different, have a different approach than everybody around you. Nobody, at my corporate job, in my level, I can go to district meetings. I was a district manager. There was like 50 of us just in the Northeast, and then across the nation. Nobody talked about these things ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Nobody in my life.
It's a lesson. I mean, just based on these conversations, what I've learned in my own life, I appreciate what you've shared because I've seen the danger of just kind of sticking to the script. And again, people are cut from different cloths. This isn't a
The script
judgment.
is good for some people. The script is great.
Absolutely. It's not a judgment. I always say, I just want you to ask if this is where I truly feel in my heart, in my gut, in my mind, where I belong and what I should be doing.
And if you want
At
something
least ask the question.
Yeah. If you want something different, if you try to go do that and you are not organized, you will fail.
Yeah.
If you try to go do something different and you don't work hard, you will fail. If you try to do something different, you don't have a critical mind, you will find yourself working for someone else. Okay. But if you want what I'm describing, being your own boss, financial freedom, and you want to do as an entrepreneur, you need those three things. So I just want to make that very clear because I have so many people that I've mentored and tried to help reach this. And if they're missing one of those things, man, it doesn't work.
The other thing is just your mention of, you were talking about it before in a hiring situation, but it is good to find people with that same mindset. Not that they want to do the same thing as you necessarily, but it's like iron sharpening iron, finding people that think in that same kind of,
to have these things like that. You can work on these things, but like, you know, if you're listening to this podcast right now and you are disagreeing with me, that's totally fine. And it's like, you have to want what I'm describing.
Yeah.
To do this. And that's fine. It's like, not everybody wants this, you know?
I think anybody after listening to this, it's what your gut tells you when you're hearing these things.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your reaction to what I'm saying?
What's your reaction? I don't want to leave the safety of my corporate job. Okay. That shows you more or less where you want to be. What is he talking about? What about a different approach? What does that mean? Like, there's more to it than just, you know, working and contributing to my 401. Okay. What is that mindset?
Yeah, what can I do? Because like, honestly, let me talk on the 401k. You know, S&P 500 probably gets you, 7 to 10% every year, right? If you don't know how to make money on your money, that's might actually be, even though, dude, why put your money in the 401k when you can just do the S&P 500? Because in the S&P 500, you can take your money out. Why would you do the 401k? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. That's what the company does. But beyond that, why are you putting your money in a jail cell?
I get it.
It's beyond me. It's beyond me. But because you have to pay the taxes in the end. People tell me taxes, and it's like, explain that to me, because it's like, pay taxes now or later, whatever. What I'm getting at is if you know, once I figured out, you see, on my multifamilies, I try to make 20% at a minimum, cash on cash. So every dollar I put in on a down payment, closing, remodeling, appraisal, every dollar I put in compared to what I make in profit each year after paying for everything, my mortgage, my taxes, my insurance, my lawn guy, my snow guy, my water bill for the complex, all of that profit after all that fixed and operating compared to what I've put in is my cash on cash. I want 20%. 20% is double 10%.
Yeah.
So I know I can take my money and do more. If you can't do more with your money, don't do the 401k. I mean, match with your company, but do S&P 500. Done.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. Dude, in starting to wrap up, is there anything else you want to share about what you're up to? Obviously, when I post this, I'll share all the links of all your different ventures and whatnot, but is there anything I might have missed that you want to share? No, anything at all, man?
I mean, I just know that there's probably finance people that are going to be listening to this and they're going to be like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And I am just going off my personal experience. Yeah. Like if maybe the 401k does work, it wasn't working for me. I saw my thing not moving, and I have multiplied my wealth in real estate. So it's worked for me. There's probably ways in which it works. There's probably ways in which corporations move you up fast and take care of you, whatever. My experience, they didn't move me up very fast. Like when I did get moved up, it was like $4,000 more per year. Like in my experience, there's a whole world out there that I don't know about. And I hope I didn't offend anybody. I'm sure there's a lot of people crushing it in other things. I'm talking about my experience.
I mean, again, everything that I share, everything that I bring people on here to share is for consideration. It's not prescriptive. It's not blanket. It's not, paid advice or anything like that. It's life experience. So I get if people are offended, but again, it's just kind of to show a different approach.
Yeah.
Yes. Pun intended. Like there it is.
I didn't say the right approach, did I? I said the different approach.
Exactly. Best point right there, my friend. All right, buddy. Thank you so much for sitting down with me for this conversation. If there's anything I might have missed to the listener, the viewer, there's so much to cover. Let me know. Send me an email. I'll reach out to Dan, see what kind of insights, information, guidance, anything else I can get back. In the meantime, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing and watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.